Accents in French, les accents. These are the little symbols that you find above or below letters in French. It might be easy or tempting to ignore them, but actually they're very important. They can change either the meaning or the pronunciation of a word. Now we'll go into accents in a bit more detail in the next lessons, but here are some of the most common ones that you're going to see in everyday French words. So, a, e, u, and then e and c. Let's take a look at the accents on the letter E, as these are some of the most common. Now, the first one, l'accent aigu, changes the E sound into an E. E. Let's look at that in some words. Enchanté, nice to meet you. Le café, coffee, and le bébé, baby. Can you see how it changes the sound? And now, l'accent grave. This is the one that falls down the letter, as opposed to l'accent aigu, which goes up the letter. This makes a different sound. It's an E sound. E. Can you see how my mouth is moving differently? So for the standard letter E, we have E. For the accent aigu, we have E. And then for the accent grave, we have E. Let's hear that in some words. Très, very. Le père, the father. La mère, the mother. And now let's move on to the cédille, la cédille, or the cedilla in English. Now this is the little squiggle that you see on the, looks like a number 5, that you see on the bottom of the letter C, and it changes the k to a s sound. You find it after o, u, and a. So ko, ku, ka becomes so, su, sa. Let's try that in some words and phrases. We have it in ça va, how are you? Le français, French, la leçon, the lesson, and le reçu, the receipt. Let's try some phrases so you can hear how they sound in context. Try repeating this whole phrase after me. Le père parle à la mère en français. Il boit un café et il demande le reçu. Can you hear all those different sounds in the sentence? Le père parle à la mère en français. Il boit un café et il demande le reçu. Super. Now let's move on to les salutations. Greetings. This is just how we say hello and goodbye to one another. So let's start with the most important one. Bonjour. Bonjour. This means hello or good day. We use this in the first part of the day in France to say hello to each other. Then we also have bonsoir. Bonsoir. This is how we say good evening to each other, or how we say hello in the afternoon, evening time. We can also say salut, hi, salut. Now this is reserved usually for friends or people you know well, as it's quite informal. Then we also have to say goodbye a little more formally. We can say au revoir, goodbye. And finally, we have a little phrase that's nice for going into cafes or shops in France. When you leave, you can say bonne journée, have a nice day. You can also say bonne soirée, if you want to say have a nice evening instead. Now, let's move on to some introductions. How do we introduce ourselves? So you would start off by saying to someone, Bonjour, comment tu t'appelles? Hi, what's your name? If you were responding to that, you would say, Je m'appelle, and then your name. My name is Enchanté. Nice to meet you. Enchanté. Then if you wanted to ask a little bit about how someone is, you would say, Comment ça va? Comment ça va? How are you? To reply to that, you might say, Ça va bien, merci. I'm well, thank you. You could say, Ça va, bof. I'm okay, so-so. And then you might say, Et toi? And you? How are you? Now, let's do a practice of some of these phrases. I think you're ready to have a conversation with me. So I would like you to have a listen to me saying this conversation and then read it out yourself. Let's get started. Bonjour, comment tu t'appelles? Je m'appelle Sophie. Et toi? Enchantée. Moi, je m'appelle Jean. Comment ça va? Enchantée. Ça va bien, merci. Et toi? Ça va mal. Salut. Au revoir. Great job, everyone.